I don't have to tell you, as you all know, just such a hugely, hugely important election. I spend a lot of time traveling around the country, and I hear from people every single day, what can we do to help heal our country? What can we do to help right the ship of our democracy? And the first thing I always say is, it really matters who we elect. It really matters. And sometimes when I'm speaking to audiences about that, people in other places will say, well, we don't have any good candidates. We don't have enough good people who run for office. This time around in Michigan, you have one of the most excellent candidates I can imagine in Elissa Slotkin. Whenever I realized Elissa might be debating on the other side, I just thought, okay, this is going to take a huge investment of time, and she's probably still going to win, because there's nobody who is more informed, who works harder, and who's more dedicated to substance. I mean, if you think about our politics today, how many elected officials spend their time trying to do everything they can to get likes on Facebook or say the most extreme and vile things, and we're asking these people to deal with the most complex and complicated issues both at home and abroad. And so we have to demand excellence. We have to demand excellence from those elected officials. And that means you have to elect people who you know are going to do the right thing. We don't get to decide who leads us. We don't get to decide what our laws are. We don't get to decide any of this if we don't defend our Constitution. And the foundation of that is the peaceful transfer of power. You know, I think sometimes we take the peaceful transfer of power for granted. And when you think about what an incredible thing it is that in this nation, when we're talking about the power of the most powerful office anywhere in the world, and we as Americans transfer that power peacefully every 4 or 8 years. I found recently, taped into one of my grandmother's scrapbooks. My dad's mother was an incredible archivist, scrapbooker for our family. And I found taped into one of her scrapbooks a copy of the concession speech that President Ford gave in 1976, his concession statement. And in the last days of that campaign, President Ford had lost his voice. He'd worked so hard all across the country, he'd lost his voice. And so the day after the election, he placed the phone call to Jimmy Carter. And he congratulated President Carter on his victory. And then he handed the phone to a 35-year-old Dick Cheney. And my dad read the concession statement over the phone to President Carter. And I just want to read you a part of that statement. This is President Ford's words. He said, "As one who has been honored to serve the people of this great land, both in Congress and as president, I believe we now must put the divisions of the campaign behind us and unite this country once again in a common pursuit of peace and prosperity." And he said, "May God bless you, President Carter, and your family as you go on this endeavor." That's what is at the essence of this nation. And every single president, from George Washington on, every single president has honored their duty and their obligation to guarantee the peaceful transfer of power, until Donald Trump. In this election, there are no voters anywhere in this country more important than all of you here in Michigan will be to ensuring that we elect honorable and faithful public servants, people who will do what's right. It's why you see this bipartisan coalition coming together, bipartisan support for honorable public servants like Elissa, bipartisan support for Vice President Harris. There is an opportunity a week from tomorrow for Michigan to send a message to the whole world to tell the world who we are, to tell the world that we're a good nation, that we are a great nation, that we are a compassionate nation and an honorable one, and to take action together to put our country first, so that when the history is written of this time, when our kids and our grandkids ask, what did you do when the time of testing came for your country? All of us can say, we did our duty, we did what was right, because we loved our country more. So thank you all very much. Wonderful to be here with me. Please cast your vote for Elissa Slotkin and for Vice President Harris. Thank you.